section, we're going to look at adding and subtracting polynomials. So we learned what a polynomial is. It's an algebraic expression. It can have as many terms as you want. And we are going to now add and subtract polynomials. So if you look here, this is a polynomial. How many terms are in this polynomial? 1, 2, 3. So remember, the polynomial is broken up by addition or subtraction. So this trinomial, I'm going to add it to how many terms are in this polynomial? 2. I'm going to add this trinomial to this binomial. So I'm adding polynomials. You can also subtract polynomials, so we'll look at that in the next part of the page. So subtracting as well. So you can add and subtract polynomials. So this polynomial plus this polynomial, we're going to add them. For our first step, we're always going to get used to removing the brackets. That's usually the best step to do when adding or subtracting polynomials. So what we want to say is that if we're adding these two polynomials, I'm just adding the second bracket to it. So when you do that, then you don't need the bracket there at all. So we're going to just say that that's the same thing as saying plus 2x cubed plus a minus 6xy. So adding a negative means you're just going to go negative 6xy. Okay, when you add a negative, it means you are actually going to subtract that 6xy from it. So when you have an addition, you just get rid of the brackets, and you're going to go plus 2x cubed plus a negative 6xy, and positive and a negative make it just negative. So most students go, okay, so that means with the plus, it doesn't change anything. So no, it does not change anything. Now what we want to do is we want to always, always, always learn how to simplify fully. So that was step one of simplifying, which means getting rid of the bracket. But to fully simplify, you want to collect the like terms. We want to collect the like terms. So like terms. Okay, so in your brain you're thinking, are there any like terms that I can collect up? So what you want to do is you want to start with the ascending, right, which means that the powers are going of the whichever variable you choose are going up, or descending. We learned this in the previous lesson. So most of the time people choose descending. And you read the instructions. There are no instructions about which order, but you get to choose if we don't say. So I usually choose descending because I find the highest number. And look, we have x's and y's. So you just choose which one's your favorite. So my favorite to look at would be the x's. So this x there's 1x, there's 3 x's, no x's, 3 x's, 1x. So when you look at this, you go, okay, I'm going to collect up my like terms. I'm going to do two things at once. I'm going to collect up my like terms because I know that this is like with this, right? Make sure you take the sign in front, and this one, including the sign in front, is like with this one. So those guys are like terms. When I collect up the like terms, I'm going to collect them in order. I usually choose, if it doesn't tell you which order, I usually choose descending. So I choose the highest number of x's, which is these two. So negative 3x cubed plus 2x cubed. So I have negative 3, and I add to it, then I have negative 1x cubed. I don't want to write that 1. It is invisible, but it is a negative 1. The only part that I am going to write is the negative part. So it's a negative invisible 1x cubed. One more time. It's negative 3 plus 2. Negative 3 plus 2 keeps me negative 1. I don't write that 1. I'd write it, but then I erase it, and I don't need the 1 sitting there. So I go negative x cubed. Then that's 3 x's. Then I'm going to go to the next one that has 1x. I'm going to collect those two. I have 5, and I'm going to subtract 6. 5 minus 6 is negative invisible 1 xy. So you can see there's an invisible 1 here, that if you write it, you want to erase it. Okay, so it's negative xy. And then this last one has no x's to it, so I just write it down, y squared. So I usually choose descending order when I'm not given instructions otherwise. So I had 3 x's, 1x, no x's. Okay, so while you're collecting like terms, you're also putting it in order. Some people don't put it in order in this step, but they take an extra step and they write it in order one more step. Okay, so you can do that as well. So if you wrote it messy here, not in proper order, you would take one more step and write it in proper order in the next step. So you might have an extra step there. Okay, let's try that again. So if it's plus, so you're looking here and saying, okay, I'm just adding. So if I'm just adding, then nothing's changing. So the addition questions are pretty easy, or more straightforward, because you're just going to add whatever's there. So I'm going to rewrite it. So I go 3y squared plus 8y minus 4. This plus means I'm just doing exactly what it is. So 2x, 2y, plus makes it plus 6y squared, and adding a negative makes it negative 10. So nothing changes when you have an addition. You're just getting rid of the brackets. Then what we're going to do is we're going to collect up like terms. And we collect up like terms as we are putting it in order. So this one is like with this one, including the sign in front. This 8y is like with this 2y, including the signs in front. And then here, I'll just do negative 4 and negative 10. I won't put an underline on that. Those two are matching as well. So the first one I'm going to look at is I'm going to say, okay, but y squared has the highest y's. So I'm going to start with that one. So I'm going to say, okay, this is 3y squared plus 6y squared. So that's 9y squared. The next one has a single y, and this one I'm going to leave for last because it has no y. So positive 8y plus 2y, 10y's. And this one I have negative 4 minus 10. So that'll be negative 14. You'll notice, please notice, that we've also continued to put equal signs down here along the side. Okay, you need to have your equal signs along the side. So look one more time. It's y squared, y, no y, so it is in descending order. Okay, try that again. If it's addition, you're just getting rid of the bracket, nothing is happening. So we're going to go equals 9m minus 2n plus 5n plus 2m plus 4m minus 6n. So some students say, do I have to write that step? For yes, for this year, I'd like you to write the step. As we progress through math, we'll let you skip more steps, but for the first year, I'd like you to write the first step, showing this step here, and then eventually we will be able to skip more steps. But for now, when we're first learning it, show me that you understand that the brackets go away because it's addition. The brackets go away with nothing happening. And then you collect up your like terms. So 9m with 9, keep the sign in front, the sign in front, plus 2m plus 4m. And this negative 2 plus the 5 minus the 6. Keep the sign in front. And we're going to rewrite that with equals 9m. So look, there's m's and n's. So here I usually just do alpha order, but there's no higher powers. So there's no descending happening. So we're just going to say m's and n's. And it doesn't really matter which order you write it in, but I usually go alpha order. So I go m before n. So 9m plus 2, sign in front is plus 2, so it'll be 11. Plus 4, so 15. So I have 15 m's. Then you go negative 2n plus 5, so it'll be 3. Minus 6, so it'll be negative 3 n's. And you'll see there's no higher order, so I don't need descending, because it's just 15m minus 3n. Okay, that's addition. So addition is nice and straightforward. And when you're subtracting, what you're imagining, is that you're adding the opposite, and that helps some people. I like to do this because sometimes this helps people, is that imagine you're multiplying a negative, there's an invisible 1 here, so I'm going to put a little 1 there, just an invisible 1. You don't have to write it, but for the beginning, if you're just learning, then sometimes it helps you to put a 1 there. And then you're going to multiply the negative 1 in. So you might say, why didn't we do it here? Well, you could, but 1 times anything, positive 1 times anything, did not change it. So if you want to, you can imagine a positive 1 times each of those doesn't change it. Positive 1 here doesn't change it. But if you're multiplying by negative 1, it changes the sign. So let's write the first bracket does not change because there's nothing in front. Oh, wait, sorry. And I wanted to point out this one. Did you remember your equal signs? So don't forget your equal signs because that's part of your communication. Okay, so here, so we've got negative 4xy minus 2x cubed plus 6y squared. That did not change at all. So that did not change at all. But here, when you're multiplying the negative 1 times 5, that makes it negative 5x cubed. Negative 1 times negative 8, that makes it positive 8xy. So the negative times a negative. So some people go, okay, so it just always flips the sign. Yes. So negative times a positive makes it negative. A negative times a negative makes it positive. So some people imagine that when you bring the negative in, it flips all the signs. So whichever way you imagine it, whichever way that helps you, imagine it that way. Some students say they like with a negative 1 times each one because then you're multiplying something times it. So that's important. So this negative, this is the one that changes things. So this changes those signs there. And then the next step is collecting the like terms. So just like what we did last time, we're going to collect the like terms. I'm going to go this guy and this guy, including the sign in front, That would get me negative 2x cubed minus 5x cubed. Why did I start with the x cubed? I'm going in descending order again. Descending. If it doesn't tell me, then I start with the highest and go lower. So descending order. So negative 2x cubed. There's 3 x's, 1 x, no x. So negative 2x cubed minus 5x cubed would be negative 7x cubed. Okay, the next one I'm going to do would be the x, so single x, and a single x with the sign in front. 4xy plus 8xy, that gets me the 12xy's. And then my last one, the one that did not change at all, it had nothing else to match with it, was just the plus 6y squared. So when you look at your answer, I have 3 x's, 1 x, no x. So it's in descending order. Let's try that again. So this minus, as soon as you see minus, you go up. Minus is more work, right? Subtract is more work. So imagine if you want a negative 1, or just imagine a negative. You're multiplying that into each term. So each term is going to flip around. This first polynomial did not change at all, so I'm going to go negative 3y squared minus 4. Oh, and what was I going to ask you to do? Can you make sure you remembered your equal sign? Sometimes you're worried so much about all this collecting and everything, you forget to put the equals down. So here, remember to put your equals down. And then here, when we multiply the negative in, or the negative 1 in, it makes it negative 2y, negative times a positive. Negative times a positive makes it negative 6y squared, and a negative times a negative makes it plus 10. Okay, so then now we're going to collect up like terms. I start with the highest, including the sign in front. So equals negative 3y squared minus 6y squared. Negative 3 minus 6 is negative 9y squared. And then we're going to go plus y, right, plus y here, and minus 2y. So plus y minus 2y. And this is a 1, invisible 1. Positive 1 minus 2 is negative 1y. Okay, and then my last one here, this negative 4, I didn't change anything, so I'm just going to leave it negative 4. All right, so let's try that one more time. So now I have, you can happen with more than one polynomial, so I have this negative and this negative. Imagine if it helps you a 1 and that you're multiplying a 1 in. Imagine if you want a 1 and you're multiplying a 1 in. So then I'll do this one in pink. So I'll do that in a different color. So this first one, nothing changed. So I'm just writing that in the green here. So this one, nothing changed. And the second one, I'm bringing the negative times this is negative times a positive, negative 2n. Negative times a positive 3 is negative 3m. Okay, then the second one, negative, imagine if you want a 1, negative 1 times negative 4, it would be positive 4m. Negative times this negative gets me a positive 1n, invisible 1 again. Okay, and then now we're going to collect up like terms. If there is no higher degree, we just usually go in alpha order. So we go m with the m, including the sign in front and including the plus. So I go 10 minus 3 is 7, plus 4 is 11 m's. Okay, and then we're going to go with here, this negative 7 minus 2 plus n. So that would get me negative 7 minus 2 is negative 9, plus 1, invisible 1, right, is going to be negative 8n. Negative 8n, so negative 8n, like that. Negative 7 minus 2 is negative 9, plus 1 is negative 8n. There you go. So that's how you add and subtract. We're going to look now at a question where we gave a shape to it. So we like questions where it kind of applies some of our knowledge. If we tell you that the perimeter of this whole figure is here, so the perimeter is this. So given the perimeter P, which is all of the sides put together of this figure, and then two sides, find the missing length. So the perimeter is all of the sides added up together. So we are missing this side here. So this side we don't have. That's what we're looking for. But I know the perimeter is all of the sides added together. So what we can do is we can say, okay, I know that these two sides, I can add them together. Okay, I'm going to add them together and I'm going to take it away from the perimeter. So what you can do is imagine a simpler case. Sometimes you go, okay, this is a lot of information. So imagine, if you will, so just imagine, if I told you that the perimeter of this was 30, and I told you this side was, say, 6, and this side was 12. Then you'd go, but 6 plus 12 is 20, so 6 plus 12 is 20. So then I know that this missing side would be 30 minus 20, so it'd be 10. Right? So if you go, okay, I know that these two sides here, if I add them together and I subtract it from the perimeter, I can get the missing side. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to add these two together and then subtract it from the perimeter to get this side. Or what you can do is just take the perimeter and minus both these sides. So we're going to do both ways. So the first way I'm going to do is I'm going to go, okay, if I remember that 5x squared minus 6x plus 2, if I add this to 2x squared plus 8x, and I remember that perimeter is all the sides, I'll subtract it from here in a minute. So I'm going to add these two together. So I added this one plus this one. So this will be 5x squared plus 2x squared. Always a sign in front gets me 7x squared. Then I'm going to go minus 6x plus 8x. So minus 6 plus 8 will be positive 2x. And then this guy here, plus 2 is just the plus 2. Then I would say that the perimeter, I would do this and I would say missing side. So this missing side is going to be this perimeter here. So 12x squared minus 7x plus 23 minus this one here, minus this answer from above. Like that. So my side would equal this. So these guys aren't equal, but my side is going to equal this perimeter here. So this perimeter here, this one here, minus the side from above. So minus this. And you'll notice that we have to put this bracket here. Brackets are going to become much, much more important than they ever were. So you need to minus the whole side. So that means you want to do this, and you want to bring the negative in, just like what we were showing you before, what I was showing you before. So here, we're going to keep going with this. So then this perimeter is still 12x squared minus 7x plus 23. So that's this one here, minus this one here. So I'm going to bring the minus in. So I'm going to go minus 7x squared, this one, minus 2x, this one, and then minus times this will be minus 2. That's the last one. And then now you can collect up your like terms. So now you can go, okay, this with this, 12 minus 7, so this will be 12 minus 7, so it'll be 5x squared. Then we go negative 7x, the sign in front, negative 2x, so it'll be negative 9x. And then here, plus 23 minus 2 will be plus 21. Okay. That's one way to do this question. The other way, which is just as good, both ways are excellent, excellent. So both ways are wonderful to use. Okay, I'm going to put or and do a different one. So or, you don't have to answer two ways, just answer one. But or, the other possibility is to grab the perimeter right away, and you would go 12x squared minus 7x plus 23, and then just go ahead and subtract each of the two sides. I'm going to subtract this side, so minus 2x squared plus 8x, this side, and then also subtract this side, so minus 5x squared minus 6x plus 2, remembering that each one of those sides has to be in a bracket, their own individual bracket. So minus this one and then minus that one. And that's what we would find. We would find the side equals this. So this is the side. This is the missing side. So side equals, and then you would take the perimeter minus both the sides separately. So this method means I wouldn't add them together. I would just subtract them each separately from the perimeter here. So we're going to bring in this negative 1, 2, and then we're going to bring in this negative 1, 2, 3. So let's rewrite it. So we're going to go 12x squared minus 7x plus 23, exactly as is. This one is going to switch to minus 2x squared, minus times a positive, minus times a positive, minus 8x. And this one here, this will switch to minus 5x squared. This minus minus makes it plus 6x, and this minus positive makes it minus 2. So some people go, so they always switch to opposite signs. Yes. Okay. The last step is to always simplify, collect like terms. So this 12x squared minus that 2x squared minus the 5x squared. That will get me 12 minus 2 is 10. 10 minus 5 is 5x squared. The next one would be, what if I do, here, I'm going to do negative 7x minus 8x plus 6x. So negative 7 minus 8 is negative 15, plus 6 would be negative 9, so negative 9x. And then my last one I will do here, so this will be plus 23 minus 2. Positive 23 minus 2 would be positive 21. And you look, they're the same answer. Okay, so there's two different ways to do that question. In the next video, I'm going to do a little, oops, which one are we going to do next? Oh, no, the next one we're going to do distributive property.